Let's talk about some of the new innovations for clients with Dianne Wilkins, CEO, and Conor, Brady, CCO at Critical Mass. Great to have you here. Dianne, talk to me a little bit about your company. We've seen tremendous growth over the last 5 to 10 years. You've made a number of small acquisitions or partnerships at least. Where are you guys headed?
I think we're certainly on a good track right now. We're an experienced design company with a relentless focus on the customer, is what we say, and what we're really seeing is that's our heritage, but the market's really kind of come around to us. So that's very much customer experience is what everybody's talking about, and to be able to be innovative in that field is really working quite well for us. So we are, web, mobile, social, and some of the acquisitions and investments you were talking about boost our strength in social and mobile in particular. 11 offices around the globe and continuing to win marquee brands like Apple and BMW and Marriott and some others.
What are these big brands on the lookout for? What exactly are they working with you with? Something that's not too secret, hopefully. What can you share with us?
We're finding AR and VR is starting to be an interesting platform, and it goes from super high production value right down to do-it-yourself production value. And depending on the brand we're working with, they will determine what level we need to be at. So we've gone from partnering with Lucasfilms and Star Wars with Nissan and doing like super high-end production that no one's ever done before on that sort of platform, right down to us putting 2 guys on a plane and flying them to Africa to shoot a 360 film for Rihanna and her foundation. So we're able to sort of stretch to both. And what we're finding that's interesting is some clients are like jumping in 2 feet. They want high production value, but then again, budget, you have to have budget to do it. And to sort of get the quality that we've managed to get with the Nissan work, I feel like they've really committed to it. And I feel like now that we've put it out there, I think we stand a better chance now of convincing other clients that look what you can do whenever you invest in it.
Sure. You talk about budget, Dianne. Who funds this? Is it the client usually? Is it you guys? Who puts up the money?
Usually it's the clients that are funding this, but what we are doing more and more of is using our skills, because we are coders and not just designers, to build actual prototyped experiences that in a lot of cases become that proof point that might used to have been a sort of strategic presentation or creative mock-ups or something, is now a live functioning thing. And that we're finding that there's if we can take that first step, there's a way better chance that clients are going to jump on board and fund it and try it and make it industrial strength.
Conor, talk to me a little bit more about AI, VR. What are the big trends here? You talked to me a little bit off camera about voice, the importance and the resurgence of that. What does that look like?
It's kind of scary for an agency like us, because we've spent decades perfecting interaction design and all the best practices that go with it. And I think literally within one swoop, it could all go away. And I think the whole idea of voice interaction, you think about Alexa or Google Home and now Apple's product, their product, I think voice in the context of home or how we interact with content is going to be really interesting. The thing that we really want as agencies is them to open the platform to allow us to go in and develop on it and do things with brands that are very unique to the brand. Like, we've spent all of our time thinking about the visual brand. What's it look like? What's it feel like? I think now the audio brand, or what we call the oral brand, is going to be something for us to lean in pretty heavily on. I think that with the idea of voice and VR together, it's going to be a whole different type of interaction that, for a brand, if I was a luxury brand and I had a beautiful product to show off, it's got to be an exciting platform for them to work on.
Well, does it work for the consumer? Do you see that there's a notable difference in consumer retention and consumer loyalty just as a result of these new technologies, AR, VR?
I think our focus certainly is on that customer loyalty all the time and designing things for the consumer. I think AR and VR at this point, it's early going. I'm not sure I'd go out on a limb. I don't know if you would, and say that those technologies specifically are changing the loyalty makeup for different brands, but I do think brands that tend to experiment more and lead in some of these cases are typically trying to find the best angle for the customer. I think they tend to be successful brands in general.
Well, one thing I'll say about the Nissan work was that whenever we did it, we produced it at the highest quality possible. And that's really good for like a one-to-one experience when you're in an Oculus headset or another brand's headset, and it's incredible. But then you can degrade it down into put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, put it on a phone. You still get the same idea, you still get the same experience. So I feel like we're able to sort of take that single piece of content and get a lot more value out of it for the customer. But also it opens it up and exposes it to so many more customers because they're not sitting with just them by themselves in a headset. So can we do one idea many different ways and sort of show that we can use the same production value for all of it?
I understand that you are very much a creative agency, but I do wonder about the recent Facebook scandal, about the measurement issues that have been, laid bare by Facebook. Is there a sense that customers are not willing to spend as much on digital campaigns just because they don't know what they're getting for their buck?
I think in certain segments of the industry, for sure, that would be the case. We tend to be one step removed because we're not really doing a lot of media and digital advertising. We're more designing the more owned property, kind of robust, complicated experiences. So it's not really impacting us. I think, in fact, some of that fear, a little bit of fear on the part of some of the clients is actually diverting more money, I think, towards more owned properties and more of the kind of innovation, experimentation, and then also just really, really amazing UX that a company like us specializes in.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.